So I have a question. So from America First perspective, why do we give $3.8 billion to Israel, which is more aid than we've given to Africa, more aid than we've given to South America, and more aid than we've given to the Caribbean combined, which is home to 1 billion poor people, especially when they deliberately attacked the USS Liberty in the 1970s?
That is incorrect. Do not peddle conspiracy theories in our event. That is not acceptable. Do not say that.
Okay, Dean Rusk disagrees with you, and he was the Secretary of State at the time, but that's fine. And then the second part is also, you have the Apollo incident in which they illegally stole weapons-grade uranium. The CIA has reports on this.
Anti-Zionist, anti-Semitic
No, I'm not
rhetoric.
anti-Israel. I'm just asking from America perspective because it's not in our interest. They act against our interest.
Remember the short question part?
Sure. I mean, how is it in our interest that we give this money to Israel?
All right, so it's required that they have to buy American weaponry. Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East, the only place where all 3 monotheistic religions are allowed to peacefully practice. It's the only country in the Middle East where all 3 monotheistic religions are represented in their government. It's the only place in the Middle East that has any appreciation for LGBT rights whatsoever. It's the only country in the Middle East that doesn't throw homosexuals off the top of buildings when they find them. It is the only partner that we have in the fight against radical Islamic terrorism. And the subtext of your narrative could be extrapolated to say, well, why on earth would we have a partner like Israel? Guess what? The world's a better place because of Israel. I reject this idea of dual loyalty. I have loyalty to ideas. And of course I love the Grand Canyon, I love the Rocky Mountains, and I love Boston, and I love Chicago. But if all that disappeared and all I had was ideas, and we were on an island, that's America. That's Israel. And that's what people have to realize, that America's just a placeholder for timeless ideas. And if you fall too in love with, the specific place and all this, that's not what it is. Israel will be the exception because there is a holy connection to this land.
When President Trump speaks, he mentions many of his successes in regards to specific races: unemployment rate among blacks, small business ownership among Hispanics and Asians. At the same time, he not only avoids mentioning the main demographic that voted for him, white America, but continues to promote a progressive post-racial politic that suggests white voters should be grouped only by their political beliefs. As a white man attempting to move past identity politics, much like yourselves, I am wondering how realistic it is to expect other racial groups to stop banding together based on ethnicity and move forward as we have, especially when there is no pressure to assimilate to an American identity, beyond that of having access to and consuming the same products. What's the question?
Well, I mean, I guess I kind of treat it the same. I kind of treat it the same as the last question a little bit, in that the best kind of justice, the best kind of government doesn't care what the color of your skin is, whether you're man, woman, black, white, and that's the direction we should go. Can I make you not think about identity, or can I make us? I can't do that. But I think we're heading in that direction, and I think there was a time, look, my wife's dad's a Baptist, and my wife's mom is Catholic. It was a big deal. The Baptist wouldn't come to the wedding because he married a non-Christian, according to them, all right? Catholics and Protestants didn't get along. Now you'd almost never see that anymore. But you see people marrying across racial boundaries. You see we are an amalgamation that all the bad stuff you can say about our country, about us not figuring out how to get along, is better than it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. But some of it isn't my job either, because people come to me and they complain about cultural things. Like, you know what the biggest problem we have related to poverty in our country? It's having kids before you're married. I can't do anything about it. I can't make you not do whatever it takes to have children. That's your business. But preachers should talk about it, and your community should talk about it. I'm not saying you'll live in poverty. Some of it's through exhortation, trying to get people to do what we think is the right thing, and then some of it's through law. And being more libertarian-leaning, I'm for the law, doing very little at the federal government other than defending the country. It was about it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you being here. Thank you.
There are many more layers to this discussion about big tech censorship. Conservatives are not being censored online the way big conservative names have claimed. These big conservatives encouraging you to play the victim and blame the fact that you're a conservative for any difficulties are lying to you, because they only care about fame and money. I'm against playing the victim, and far too often conservatives are quick to play victim anytime their social media accounts fluctuate. The topic of censorship is a controversial one, and I think there is certainly big tech bias against conservative voices on specific social media platforms. But this is a nuanced discussion that can't be summed up as easily as, yes, conservatives are being censored online.
I have a question. I'm going to try to make it as quick as I can. Establishment conservatives like yourself hold that national health care for Americans is too expensive, immoral, and doesn't work. Yet the U.S. gives Israel, Central America, Africa, and other regions billions in foreign aid. In particular, Israel received $3.8 billion to subsidize its immoral, expensive health care system, while Americans are made bankrupt by health care costs and pay a far higher effective tax rates than Israelis. My question, therefore, why would white Americans send their taxpayer dollars to fund Israel's health care while our mothers fight cancer, our brothers die of opioid overdoses, and the news of a coming baby brings not joy and happiness, but grave concern over thousands and thousands in future medical bills? How is that America first?
Thank you for being here tonight. So what is the foreign aid we give Israel spent on?
Bombs for blowing up children. But also their health care system, their wall, which we don't have.
That's quite a bold, inaccurate way to depict it.
I'm having a little fun.
So I'll answer the question for you. The foreign aid we give Israel is spent on American defense manufacturers that employ Americans and is built on a joint alliance. It's not built on their domestic welfare programs. Let me finish.
Okay.
So you believe that Israel is immorally existing in the Middle East, or you said something of the sort?
I don't believe I said that.
Okay, you said, well then...
I said that we're financing their health care system, their public health care system, which by your moral code is immoral.
So we're not. We're actually in a joint partnership where we give them certain amounts of money only if they spend it on U.S. defense manufacturers. So Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, millions of Americans are employed by the very countries that we have a joint partnership alliance with Israel. Let me say something else. I appreciate you being here tonight. I get a lot of questions about Israel. I'm a proud American. I'm a proud freedom-loving patriot. I believe in America first. But I also believe in the sovereignty of Israel, and I also am so perplexed and puzzled by the amount of hatred that goes against the country that has half of the Jews in the entire world, the only democracy in the Middle East, the only place where Muslims, Christians, and Jews all represent in the same government in the Middle East, the only country in the Middle East that doesn't throw gays off the top of buildings when they come in contact with them.
Hello. My question is for Charlie Kirk. Why do you deny the attack on the USS Liberty, which is well documented by both U.S. and Israeli sources, and which resulted in the death and injuries of over 200 Americans?
I deny that it was a deliberate attack by the Israeli government. That's what I deny. Thank you for being here tonight. Is there another comment you'd like to make about that? Sure.
Some people would disagree. I would just like to ask one more quick thing. Would you be willing to debate somebody that is an actual America First conservative like Nick Fuentes?
No. Thank you.